I loved it so much, I broke my glass because I was clapping so loudly.
The festival itself is terrific.
Ludlow is just a glorious town, glorious festival. I've enjoyed every second of it.
Hilarious. I mean, it was great. Loads of fun to be involved with.
Oh, they were lovely. Look at them all. Lovely people, the people of Ludlow.
This is the first event we've been to, but we'll come to lots more.
Well, here we are outside the Feathers Hotel. I don't know if it looks like this anymore because I know they've had a couple of problems over the years, but I'm here, Nick Causton.
I think that's a pretty accurate representation.
I'm Nick Causton. I'm here with Jack, who is the one of the production team actually on Ludlow Fringe. I'll zoom in if I can. Actually, we've got a couple of little gremlins in the works already by the look of it, but not to worry. We're not going to let that bother us.
It's probably for the
tonight.
best, to be honest, Nick.
I think you need to pedal a bit quicker, actually, Jack. Is that an option?
All right, yeah. Okay, go ahead. No problem. How are we doing tonight? You okay?
I think we're all good, actually. Fancy meeting you here, is all I can say, to be quite honest. So Go on.
Sorry.
No,
I was
you
just going to say,
carry
I
on.
don't want to break the illusion, but I just wondered, if you knew how Cornwall was this evening.
I do know how Cornwall is, because the truth of the matter is, you had to blow my cover, didn't you, mate? I'm actually here in Cornwall, as it happens. I am down here in Cornwall, having a lovely time, thank you very much. And I presume you're in Ludlow, are you?
I'm actually in Clibbury Mortimer, which is the next sort of town along, very small town. But yeah, a stone's throw from Ludlow.
Don't worry, you don't have to tell me where Clibbury is. I've had a few good times in Clibbury in my day, I must admit. I used to a few mates up that way, actually, although I tend to drive through on the way back home quite quickly, over Clee Hill and down through Clibbury. I tell you, there's a racing bend at the bottom. Yeah. What's that hill? As you come through Clibbury, there's almost like a racing right-hand turn and you go up the bank, isn't there? That's a bit of a killer.
Do you know what? That was the first thing somebody recommended to me when I moved here. I've only been here for a few months now, but somebody literally the first week told me about that bend. So it must have a bigger following than I previously thought. It's bizarre.
Excellent. So you're a producer for Ludlow Fringe. What does that mean, Jack? I mean, does that keep you busy, or are you looking pretty chilled on it?
I mean, well, no, it means a very steep learning curve is what I've learned. This is actually my first year with the festival. We're a very small team, and actually, as you're aware, as a patron, it's a team that's only recently expanded this year. So only this year have we adopted sort of marketing people and active patrons like yourself to contribute in a significant way. But basically, the core of it was always the director, Anita, who you obviously do these lives with, and also my colleague and good friend, Nicola. And I'm sort of co-sharing Nicola's role this year. So, festival producer. So it just is the organisation of the thing from, I guess, nothing to whatever sort of... mess it might turn out to be. But, we liaise with the artists, we organise the thing, we make sure that the brochure's organised, we make sure that tickets are getting sold, and that technicians are going to be available for the events. So the whole bag. Really.
That sounds like a proper job.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's incredibly enjoyable, obviously. The sort of, especially coming out of lockdown. I know we probably don't want to mention the C word or anything like that, but this year more than ever, it's been really nice to sort of speak to artists that are very desperate to get back out there, and obviously you with your creative work as well. I'm assuming you get that same feedback that people are just very hungry to be back doing things and creating again and having audiences and basically stuff that's laid dormant for over a year now. People are chomping at the bit.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so touch and go, isn't it? I think everybody's on the edge of their seats, whatever their work is, whatever they're doing. It really is. It's really quite an uncertain time. I mean, we sat outside. We've pulled Anita's truck up outside the Feathers at the moment. I don't know if what do you know about. I mean, I know you're new to town. What do you know about the Feathers? Because I know it's had a fairly sort of rock and roll roller coaster last few years, actually, hasn't it? What do you know about the Feathers?
I've got to admit, you probably know as a past local lad, you might know more than I do. I've had this unfortunate experience of, despite organising or co-organising the festival, I haven't been into any of these venues because of the restrictions. So what's going to be really bizarre is when the festival happens will actually be the first time that sort of largely I will see these places, and I've just had to be relying on Anita and Nicola's prior experience to sort of inform me as to where artists should go and all that sort of thing. So you tell me how is the Feathers? Given that tonight is our kind of venue preview, if you like, for the Feathers. I mean, we've actually had quite an interesting little roller coaster of the last few weeks. Actually, I mean, we've done a few of these live streams, as you know. We did one actually up on Wycliffe with Anita up there on Wycliffe on an old bench, which my mum says is our bench and our tree. She's a bit territorial, my mum. You obviously haven't met my mum, but all I'd say is don't mess. We then did a lovely little pop-up outside Castle Square where we first aired Anita's trailer, which I know she's very proud of. So we stuck that up outside there. And I hope nobody thinks we're taking this too serious. Just having a bit of fun. Then we stuck it outside the brewery. I'm sure you know that as a venue. Do you know the brewery as a venue? You know what? That is the one place in Ludlow that even in my short time here, I'm already very, very familiar with.
You're familiar with the brewery. Okay, well, that's all good to know. So we had a lovely chat with Sam from there. That's going to be a mega venue, big marquee out there, 200, maybe even 300, depending on the regs. Last week, Stokesay Court, which I'm a Shropshire lad, Jack. I was born and bred in Ludlow. Lived in Ludlow till I was 18, and I'd never heard of Stokesay Court. I mean, look at that. What a superb venue that is. And that's going to be wonderful, isn't it?
It's going to be an incredible backdrop for equally incredible performances. There's a limited number of performances happening there, but the ones that are happening there, I think, will justify the venue. Basically, very sort of big, significant performances. So we definitely expect.
I must admit, Anita's a bit of a rascal though, because she pulls a bit of a wry face when she says there's no roof. People are going to come with waterproof, so they've got to be prepared to get wet. Which she's got a bit of a wry smile on her face when she says that. And then And then obviously here we are at the Feathers tonight, which is fantastic. I'll tell you some facts about the Feathers. I learnt Silver Service waiting at the Feathers when I was a lad. So what did I do? I was a paper boy. I then worked at Jones the Butchers, which was the butchers over the road from the Feathers. I learnt my trade, my gift of the gab there, if you like. I was skinning sheep's heads on a Friday morning before school. You try to get the youngsters to dare to do all that. And then I was absolutely delighted to be offered a job by Mr. and Mrs. Nash. Peter Nash, bless him, is passed now, but Mrs. Nash, who lives down the road from her mum, actually, and she taught me Silver Service waiting, which got me to Cornwall, because I did 2 summer seasons in the big hotel in Newquay in Cornwall between sixth form and university. I had a great time. So the Feathers is very special for me. They've got a lovely, lovely ballroom there called the Prince Charles Suite, which I believe is probably still called that. And that's a super venue. That's going to be a really good venue. It's not massive.
Oh, Nick, sorry. No more audio from you. I don't know if people can hear me, but as far as I know, the Feathers is just an incredibly elegant space. I'm only going off photographs and that sort of thing. But so, yeah, it's not the largest, but it's got I know it does have a sort of bar at the back of the room, which obviously we hope will refresh people for any performances that they go to. And,
you covered me like a pro there, mate. That was really very, very good. I'm quite impressed by that.
I didn't know if I could be heard, but I thought I'd better give it a go.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm having all sorts of fun and games here. I've got do you know what? I'm going to come clean. Actually, I think we need to show the public the situation that we're working under here. Actually, So let me
What
just
do you
pull
mean? We're
this.
behind a desk in a van.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're really roughing it, aren't we? So let me just show you what's going on here. You'll probably have a little giggle at this. So basically, let's have a look and see if I can pull this up. What happened to that? USB video. That should be working now. Come on. Doesn't seem to want to work. Is it going to or not? Okay. So basically, I've got a USB thing with loads of things plugged in, which is different to the way I usually do it, and it seems to keep resetting itself. And every time it does, I lose audio. So please, if I do lose audio, don't hesitate to tell me I've lost audio, because that's always a good way of.
You'll get something like that. That's fine.
Well, I won't hear it. Well, I'll hear you. I probably won't see those gestures.
Okay.
Oh, here we are. So I can show you what we're working with now. So this is me, literally in front of a green screen, up in a loft, up in an attic in Cornwall. That's the sea over there, and that's you on there. And there's my tech. So normally I've got a lot more laptops than this, and I've got my portable green screen with me tonight. So yeah.
I was saying before we came on, it's incredible that that's sort of your essential travel gear. You know, it's you can't be packing light.
I'm not packing light, absolutely. No, so this is all good fun. So yeah, so the feathers was very special to me, and obviously I'm just beyond delighted that Anita's asked me to be a patron this year. It really has been very, very special, and I think a big thing for me, actually, well, not, don't think, I mean, was going back to my school last week where we built a cardboard cathedral in the school playing field up there at Ludlow Primary School. I keep saying Ludlow Junior. I got clipped round the ear by the deputy over the internet last week for calling it Ludlow Infants, and basically we did an all school assembly. We live streamed it to the school community, so all the parents could watch it. We had all the kids on there. Now I'm going to show you this little film here, Jack, of what actually happened when we pressed the button. Check this out.
And counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
So this is a band, this is a junior school, primary school teacher, Luke, who has a band called Titania from a school up in Leeds, Parklands Primary on the Seacroft Estate, and he's given us this song, Take You Higher. It's just brilliant. And that's what this is all about, Jack. Do you know what I mean? It's all about that kind of grassroots vibe, isn't it? And I think, you know, the thing about the Fringe, it's grassroots, but it's also some of the highest professional acts. I mean, you've got some incredible people lined up, haven't you, really?
Yeah, I mean, so that was one of the first things I learned about Fringe, you know, because you're not only coming into, Ludlow Fringe, you're coming into a whole Fringe network, as I'm sure you know. So this is a network of festivals, obviously Edinburgh being the most famous, but a whole nation of Fringe festivals happening this year, or at least, intend to happen this year. And the beautiful thing is it is that full spectrum of, jobbing actors and people that have been doing this for decades, and also people that are cutting their teeth, and they've literally amateurs that have written a show, or they're a musician that wants to start performing to live audiences. So you do get this wonderful eclectic mix of all different sort of disciplines, all different people at all different sort of points in their career. So looking at our brochure, which we're glad to say is now out in physical form.
Oh, hang on, you've got one there, have you? Let's have a look at that. Hold that in front of you. Let's have a look.
I'll hold it close to me so you can see it.
Wicked.
So the cover artist there is one of the storytellers that's going to be involved specifically in Pride this year. So if you look inside the brochure, the Pride event is where Mama G will be appearing. And now that the physical brochure's out there, you will be able to see that we've got, people doing sort of one person shows, monologue type things. We've got spoken word artists, but then you should also see some recognizable faces, some television comedians or comedians that have been going for decades, and we think it's a really, really lovely mix. It's a little bit pared down, obviously, because of venue availability and people still being a little bit rightfully cautious of what we're coming out of. But we still think that there's a hell of a lot to see over the 4-week period. And I'd fully encourage you, if you're in the Ludlow mailing area, you will be getting a brochure through your door anyway. But also we are now distributing, we literally personally, as I say, small team, but we are going around local businesses, not just in Ludlow, but obviously surrounding towns and that sort of thing. So keep your eyes out. And if you want a physical brochure, they will be there for you. However,
Brilliant.
I would, if get ahead of the game and always go and check out the full programme on ludlowfringe.co.uk and see all the artists on there as well.
Fantastic. Well, there's a double-page spread out there, which I worked up with Anita. Actually, I'll just pull it up here because just very quickly. I mean, I run a national non-profit around creativity called Steamco, and that's right. And Anita has asked me to pull a few things together. So I'm talking about how living your best creative life, really. When I've got a program of events called the Art Connects 21 events, and this is the spread for that. So we've got an amazing event in Ludlow St Lawrence, Space at St Lawrence. That's the Art of Dads. I'm going to have a bit of a ramble with my dad, actually, about being a dad, not trying to do your best, the best you can, and juggling all the other pressures in life. We've got Homer Hickam, who's a worldwide author of a book called Rocket Boys. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for that in Ludlow Church. Really, really excited. The Art of Cardboard, we're going to be doing about cardboard modelling. That's on the end of the day at Ludlow Primary. So that's Friday the 25th. The church thing's on Thursday the 1st of July. And we're doing a Your Glass Day, so hashtag Your Glass Day. We're going to build a cardboard pyramid stage on the playing field at Ludlow Primary School, just like we did last week with the cathedral, which is Coventry Cathedral. And we're going to get bands and performances and kids from all over the country to do performances there on the Friday. And then the Saturday, we're going to move it up Castle Square. So that's going to keep you producers, you and Nicola, busy, I think, producing that. What do you reckon to that? All that stuff then?
It's incredible, and that's what I mean. It's something. I'm assuming. I mean, obviously, you've been doing this all over the country for many years, but it's stuff like that people won't have engaged with before. That sort of unique stuff that you might not even be able to imagine. So the fact that we can sort of make that so accessible, especially sort of out in a rural community as well. I think that's why, and especially this year more than ever, bearing in mind that there's the tiniest bit of jeopardy involved, but I would argue that all of us are still aware that we're being safe. We're taking every precaution. We're going to have loads of stewards this year that are still trying to that will make all these events safe and make sure that everyone's conducting themselves in a proper manner. We're doing far more outdoor events this year, of which obviously some of yours are part of that. So we would just encourage everyone to sort of come and see these shows and support these artists, that some of which are travelling very, very long distances to participate, and just give people sort of hopefully an incredible experience coming out of all this messiness that we've been experiencing.
No, absolutely.
But,
well, let's. I'll tell you what would be great. I'll tell you what I've got lined up for you, actually, Jack. I've just managed to establish a contact. I'm going to see if I can just get one of the acts, actually, which I'm very much looking forward to. I think it's Midsummer Night's Dream is the project he's working on. And I love puppetry. I really do love puppetry. So I'm very much looking forward to this. Now, this is
actually sorry to butt in. This is actually the tragedy of Macbeth. This is.
I beg your pardon.
Maynard?
I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I always get my Shakespeare muddled up, don't I? It's a good job you know what you're talking about. So I may not get him on, actually, because I'm too embarrassed now. But he knows who's among friends. So I've just got to hope I am, basically. So let me just click the buttons here. And let's just hope that you didn't hear a word of that. Henry, tell us. So sorry about that. Welcome to Ludlow Fringe.
Hi there. How are you guys? Yeah, amazing.
Very
Very
well.
exciting.
Thank you so much for participating. Firstly.
No, of course, it's an absolute pleasure. We've been working on our show for quite a long time, so it's really exciting to actually it'll be a world premiere of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So are we going to be one of your first performances, or the first performance, sort of coming out of this?
Yeah, so we did a work in progress 2 years ago in London. We did 2 nights, and this will be the first time we've done it since then. It's come on a long way, and we've been developing it for a long time. So we're quite excited to actually get it on its feet.
Yeah, I've got to say, some of like one of the most joyous things about putting this thing together is, when artists initially send through an application or send through details, and they also send through sort of videos and stuff that we can look at and that sort of thing. And without a doubt, the production value and the emotive sort of response to your terrifying sort of trailer, it's definitely one that sort of stuck out. So who is Flabbergast Theatre, I guess, initially?
So, I guess Flabbergast we've been running for about 10 years. We started off as a puppetry company doing a show called Boris and Sergei, and then sort of moved into clowning and physical theatre. We actually brought a show to Ludlow Fringe maybe 2 years ago, which was Tatterdemalion, which is my solo show. And then, we've been looking at sort of more narrative pieces and how we can apply, I guess, the idea of puppetry and physical theatre and mask and all of these wonderful European sort of styles of theatre, and how they might apply themselves to a traditional Shakespearean play.
Yeah, brilliant. And how obviously with all that experience, and you're sort of you've got a lot of people involved in your company. How difficult has it been to sort of maintain connections and actually be able to rehearse, practice, sort of conceptualize?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, obviously, last year was really tough, I guess, for everybody. We were quite lucky. Initially, we got some Arts Council funding, and then we got another little Arts Council fund for the research and development of the piece. And so we managed to invite someone over from Poland who works with the Grotowski Institute, which is an amazing Polish theatre institute. And they came over and we bubbled together just before the second lockdown. We all went off and we sort of squirreled ourselves away in Winchester and did like 2 weeks of work together. It was beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. We were very lucky to be able to get him in time before everything sort of closed down again.
Incredible.
But it has been, it's been, but
And excuse my ignorance, so you've got puppetry in the show as well?
Yeah, there is some puppetry in the show. The children in the show are represented by puppets, but I mean, the strain of puppetry sort of runs through everything that we do. Coming from a puppetry background, the way that we devise our physicality is always informed by the puppetry that we've done in the past. It's a really rich vein of interesting work.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Are you finding that the are you applying to the Fringe network at large, not just us? Are you sort of using the wider Fringe network?
Yeah, I mean, we've done Edinburgh maybe 7 or 8 times now. We haven't applied for this year because we were just unsure about what the finances would be. We're a relatively large cast, there's 8 of us, so it's quite a financial outlay to go all the way to Edinburgh, and without really knowing what's going on, it's hard to sort of commit to it in 2021, but we're aiming for 2022 to take it to Edinburgh. And in between sort of now and then, Ludlow will be our first. We're then off to Manchester, I think, in August for a couple of shows. And I think we'll try and keep sort of running it and reinvigorating. And then, hopefully 2022 we can go up to Edinburgh and see where that takes us.
What date's this on, Jack? I want to see this. I really do, actually.
Yeah, no, it's it was harrowing. It's a very, very good trailer. It left a mark. Can I? It's an incredibly awkward and awful cliche question, but can you distill down what people can expect to see?
Yeah, I mean, you can expect to see the tragedy of Macbeth, but told in a very vital and fresh. I think a fresh approach. So we're very much based on storytelling. The idea being that often Shakespeare can be a little hard to access. Even for us, as actors, some of the text can be quite difficult. So we're very much about communicating what's going on. Using obviously the text itself, but then also the physicality, the puppetry. We've got some wonderful songs as well in there, some drumming, and we're doing it at Stokesay Court, which is a beautiful backdrop. They've allowed us to use the courtyard, the front courtyard, which I think it's quite gothic, really suits the piece, and it's a really exciting sort of prospect to do.
Absolutely. And have you got any connections to Ludlow specifically yourself, or any of the company?
I know Anita of old, actually. I don't what I first. So I know Anita's daughter Billy and I have worked together quite a lot, and that's when I think I first was introduced to Anita and Anita's work, and then she got me up to do Tatterdemalion, like I say, a few years ago, which was my solo clown piece. Which is all silent, and it's a lot of mime stuff, very funny, silly, piece. I mean, there's a lot of irreverence. The way that we approach Macbeth as well, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a lot of irreverence and comedy within the piece, finding the humanity within the tragic characters. So finding Macbeth funny, it kind of lends itself to allowing the audience to invest in those characters and feel like they can connect with them without it being, it's not so, terrible all the time.
Maybe I misspoke. I should have said impactful rather than.
No.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. So this is the 9th of July, Friday the 9th of July to Monday the 12th then. You're doing 3 or 4 performances?
We're doing 2 shows a day, so we're actually doing 8 performances. Sorry.
And you're going on Sunday as well. Wow, brilliant.
Yes, so we're going to do 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and 2 on Monday. So there's plenty of chance, hopefully, for people to catch the show. And we're trying to offer sort of school groups as well, and larger groups and that kind of thing, some discounted tickets.
And have you seen Stokesay Court as a venue? Have you seen the venue?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Isn't it going to be incredible? It's like one down from doing it in the church, and that's weddinged out, I think, at the moment, so that's not an option. But my goodness, so it's going to be wonderful. It's really, really grateful that you could join us, Henry. And I know we had a couple of little hiccups earlier, but thanks so much for sticking with it and joining us tonight. Anything you want to say? Any shout outs? Say hello to your mum or anything while you're on, or it's grassroots vibe?
Hello, hi Anita. I'll see you soon.
Well, there you go. I mean, keep in with your agent. You might get back next year at this rate if you play cards right. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Henry. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Great work.
Thank you, Henry. See you soon.
Bye.
Well, I tell you what, that's looking fantastic, isn't it, Jack? How cool does that look?
It really is. Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of, and this isn't to sort of cast any naughtiness on any of the sort of more amateur acts or anything like that, but it's just from what I've seen and everything, it's definitely an incredible production and worthy of sort of the Stokesay Court venue, which is only going to make it even more sort of impactful. So it's really great, and I fully encourage people to snap up tickets. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity to see them, but again, being mindful of safety measures and that sort of things, we have had to sort of strictly cap performances this year. So it's a bit of a salesman pitch, but I would definitely encourage people to be engaging with the box office as soon as possible and make sure that they are sort of getting their tickets, because once the cap is hit, there's no sort of ability to extend or offer any sort of late tickets or anything like that. So no. I would encourage people to buy up ASAP, not just for Tragedy of Macbeth, but obviously all the performances across the board.
Fantastic. And I was hoping to get Gary, I don't know if you know Gary Ward, but basically back in the day when I was a sound engineer for a punk band called the Exhumed in Ludlow, and my brother.
I remember the Exhumed. Yeah.
Do you? You don't look old enough. Good Lord.
Come on now.
I'm serious. You don't look old enough to remember the Exhumed. Where? I'll be honest with you. I went to grammar school and I actually had to look up. We were called the Exhumed for about 6 months before my mum cringed. She said, "What do you call that for?" I said, "Well, I don't know. What does it mean?" I had no idea what it meant. And the screen's falling down. And basically, I had to look it up. I had no idea it was digging dead bodies up, which was obviously very punk, you know. But the point is, my brother was a couple of years younger than me. He had a band called the Virgin Destroyers, which obviously was even chikier, and basically they supported us in Ludlow Town Hall together with another band, actually, a band called the Lasers, which had Harry Ragg on drums and a girl called Carol Decker on lead vocals, who went on obviously to have to Pow. So they supported our punk band in Ludlow Town Hall. Then they knocked it down, of course. The rest is history. But the big thing I want to announce now, I think I might have mentioned it last week, is that basically we're doing a night called The Art of Rebels as part of this crazy schedule of stuff I'm doing. This is on the 30th of June, 30th of June. The Art of Rebels at the brewery, and we've only got Glenn Matlock of the Sex Pistols doing a talk and singing, and we've got Fred and his punk skiffle band, and I'm hoping to announce another amazing act. So I'm going to get tickets up for that in the next couple of days if you can help me spanner the old website and get that sorted. We are going to have...
tease, Nick.
Well, I'm actually going to give you what you need, you mean? So Jack, I'm absolutely so excited about this, and I'll tell you something else. I don't know if you know this. I might have mentioned it, but basically, I don't know if you do know this. Actually, oh, you do. Got some sponsorship the other day for a UK tour that I'm doing with Steamco called the #Inspired to Learn 21 tour, to use creativity to engage our kids, to engage our community. And we've got sponsorship from Inspiration 4, which is the first privately crewed space mission on a real rocket, a SpaceX rocket, and they're launching in September, and they're sponsoring us on our tour. So they've basically paid for us to go into a few schools, and are paying, there's a tractor going by, and are paying for us to rent a camper van to come to Ludlow in. So we're coming to Ludlow in a branded camper van, towing the Steamco trailer. So I think it's going to be quite a lot of fun. I can't wait personally. I don't know about you.
I mean, that's our main goal, obviously. You know, get out there, see as many artists as you can, get booking as soon as you can, as I say, because of the caps. And not to bring the tone down, but I will say, obviously, there's been a few headlines this week that are sort of casting, relaxing into doubt and all that sort of thing. Just rest assured that we're being mindful of that. We're looking to obviously move artists into outdoor venues if needs be, and also we do have refund policies and all that sort of stuff. So I would hate for people to sort of be hesitant in committing to seeing performances because of this week's headlines. I would say buy now if you can afford to, and then if circumstances change, we're open to that. We're aware of it, and we would still encourage you to get the brochure, as I say, mail to all Ludlow addresses, and in shops and stuff on a wider distribution. Get the brochure, check the website ludlowfringe.co.uk, see all the artists that are going on, and please, support us and support the artists, and let's have a ruddy good June and July.
Brilliant. Well, it's been great catching up with you and doing this with you. I think we need to do a virtual high five. How do you fancy that, Jack? You've got to get the right arm.
That's going to test me. Right. There we go.
Boom.
There we go.
I don't know if you noticed. If you watch this on playback, you'll notice I actually did a quick test which hand it was going to be, because it's quite confusing, isn't it?
Oh, I see. So you cheated.
No, I'd like to think I'm a bit of a pro, mate. Sorry, don't give me that.
Yeah, no, true.
All right, nice one. We'll be in touch, and let's roll the video. See you. Thanks, Jack. See you, mate. Bye-bye.
I loved it so much, I broke my glass because I was clapping so loudly.
The festival itself is terrific.
Ludlow is just a glorious town, glorious festival. I've enjoyed every second of it.
Hilarious. I mean, it was great. Loads of fun to be involved with.
Oh, they were lovely. Look at them all. Lovely people, the people of Ludlow.
This is the first event we've been to, but we'll come to lots more.